Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER. Everything sci-fi, fantasy, geek culture, and geek interests. No matter who you is, who you are. Today we have a special guest, a group from DiGamma Omega Xi Incorporated. Ow! How you guys doing today?
What's up, bros? What's up, man?
What's up?
Big brother respect here.
Chairman
Big
in the
brother
house.
high tech here.
How y'all doing? Bro, High Road.
This is excellent. So, we've got High Road, we've got Respect, we got Cherubim, and we've got High Tech. How you guys doing from DiGamma Omega Xi Incorporated?
Feeling good. Feeling like I'm about to have fun with my bros. This is what we do on a normal basis. DiGamma Omega Xi, brotherhood and sisterhood. But tonight we're gonna get a little brotherhood perspective on some things.
Yeah, so we invited GEEKCASTER, inviting you to be a part of the show. We're going to talk about technology in education and technology in dating. And a shout out to all the rubies, all your sisters, not on the call, but yes, this is a coed multicultural organization. But today we're going to talk with the bros. So let's start out with technology and education. Let's start out real slow, okay? Because I know we're going to heat it up. Right now, with everything going on, what do you guys think about technology, where it's going with education, the role that it's playing today?
Well, I think as far as being the educator, a lot of that I think is still up in the air. A lot of, it's mostly political and, different regions. We're still in the middle of the pandemic. For those of you that see this in now or in the future. And so, but in the role of being the educatee, I think there's tons of options. And it's been kind of a culmination of the past decade of learning online, learning anything you need to know and getting any sort of information online. It's kind of led up to a point where now we don't have to figure that part out. You can literally learn anything you want to within a couple of clicks, a couple of minutes, a couple of sites, and literally matrix that information in your brain now. So I think that part, that part's cool. I always wanted to be Neo and just straight up make a phone call and then just have that information. So we're getting close to that.
Now, High Road, you just came from class. How is it that, because you're doing a mix between going to class as well as learning virtually, what has that been like?
So I mean, like in all honesty, it's a new process for everybody. Everybody's still trying to get acclimated with it. The teachers themselves are still trying to, catch up to this new vibe that everybody has to get onto right now. It's a struggle. It's something new. It's difficult. There's a lot more work and deadlines since nobody really understands about, is this really a stressful act for people to be under? Or, is this going to be the new common now? So I see the positives in it, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, until everybody gets a hold of everything, it's just a lot. And it's overwhelming. And it's just, until people get a handle, it is ridiculous right now.
All right. Well, now let's move on because technology is super important. It's becoming more and more important each day. For instance, the internet, back in the day, it was a joke. Oh, you got your degree online. Now it's necessary. It's necessary to keep these institutions flowing and keep going. But it's also affecting relationships. Long distance relationships. How are they working in a pandemic? How are they working in reference to technology? Or not working, in your opinion? Let's start with High Tech, because you're a tech guy.
Sure. So it's actually a very unique situation that we find ourselves in right now. To be honest, just almost everybody right now has to adapt to the new culture as far as being able to utilize technology and information to be able to access other systems or other people. A lot more people are starting to be engaging and aren't reluctant to be as open. But that's something that's, over the past couple of years, it's something that's been tried over and over again, but it hasn't been very successful. Now we're kind of forced to do that, just by what is happening around the world. So that's a very, very interesting point to kind of point out there.
Now with catfishing, Cherubim. Oh, you moved your head, so you've been catfished. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Tell us about that story. What happened where you were catfished?
So I was on every millennial Gen Z's favorite app, Tinder. Swipe for booty. And it was just, it's so easy to post a good picture of yourself. Look completely different, but put 2-3 filters on your picture. All of a sudden, you go from looking like Pee Wee Herman to Angelina Jolie. Split second.
Steve Urkel to Steve Urkel. Stefan Urkel.
And that's the thing. I never understood that. Like, why would... I mean, they're going to see what you look like eventually.
It's the eventually part that you're trying to wait till.
Right. Maybe not eventually.
Oh, wow. So what happened? You just kind of said, hey, you're not what I vied for, or what happened?
Nah, we went on a date. I met her at the restaurant, and I was like, where is she? And she was like, hi, Angelo. And I was like, hi. Like, do I know you from somewhere? She was like, it's me. I was like, do I know this girl from high school? She's from college? Like, what is it? She was like, it's me, so-and-so. I was like, oh, hi. It's so nice to finally see you in person. And what you look like, really.
Oh.
And then I gave her a hug.
Awkward.
We had dinner. And that was it.
Well, I'm glad that you were a gentleman through and through. Respectable. You did the right thing. But it's hard, especially I have a lot of people that constantly complain about swiping, the likes, inboxes that just went wrong. It seems that technology is making it easier to date, but more complicated. What do you guys think about?
Well, look, there was actually a 2019 study that said that almost half of U.S. online users have met or know someone who has met a romantic partner via a dating website or app. So just by the end of 2019, 77% of adult online users reported have gone on a dating with someone that they met online. So it's prevalent. It's most people that are online, they either meet or know someone or have started a romantic relationship or have, I guess I don't know if it counts if your long distance relationships turn virtual. Does that count as online now? But it's prevalent with all these other dating apps and eHarmonies and all that. They're still surviving.
I think it's more about the fact that you can try and kind of, for more less of a better word, filter out what your common interests are together versus kind of just guessing when you come up with a random person, in real life, and you kind of say, okay, this is kind of what I like to do. Let me see if I have some common interests. But again, that also comes down to personality. You may have common interests, but doesn't necessarily mean you guys are going to click.
Quality time versus quality communication,
or maybe just quantity, possibly. If you go on, 100 dates and none of them seem to be right, technology now at least kind of gives you that possibility to look for certain interests, that you can kind of eliminate specific things that you may not like.
Okay. So this is where it gets interesting with online dating, right? Because what if an app, now see, this is where AI is going, right? The dating apps use AI, artificial intelligence, in order to cater your likes and interests that totally matched with someone else's. So let's just say it was able to do that perfectly, and you met now, does that water down dating? As far as, because that's the whole point of it, right? The whole point of dating is figuring out your likes, your dislikes, your common interests, your, even if it's opposites can attract. So the better a dating app or site does, will that necessarily water down the experience of dating?
I think it can. I mean, we talked to older generations and said, I couldn't stand my husband or wife or whatever the situation be, and 40 years later, so maybe we're still together. So imagine, like, oh, I want this, and you get that, but maybe the perfect match is the most unperfect match.
Right.
And I think it's also, to a certain point, you kind of mentioned it, nowadays a lot of people look into something and say, okay, maybe if I get bored, per se, it's also much easier to find somebody else, and just kind of move on to the next, not just work through your issues like a lot of people in the past have. Just be like, oh no, it's easy enough to find somebody that's got something in common with me, and just move on. That's, at this point, it's also kind of a scary thing, Well,
especially when you start looking and like, wait a minute, how you know my cousin?
Shows up randomly.
Hi, Roger. You're real quiet over there. You gonna give us some words of wisdom?
He's on Tinder right now.
It's hitting home somehow.
You just gotta think. I have a lot of friends who get into dating online. A lot of friends who it seems like
can't hear you a little bit. You talk a little louder. Yep.
As Big Brother Respect said before, the AR does have to work for you. But like, if you can't talk, if you can't, socialize with these people, then they just write you off immediately. You could have all the perfect traits, but if you're a socially awkward person, like, most of us indoor bros happen to be at times, you're not gonna pull through on that last game, and you'll never make it to the actual date place.
Well, look, being a DiGamma man, we got game. All right, so I'll speak for all my bros, including myself. The DiGamma bros have no problem socializing, being a gentleman, being professional, what all counts for it. So, however, if you guys want to jump on that Tinder, that's fine. No judging.
Just be gentlemanly on there.
However, Tinder does have a global mode, so now you can see people around the world.
Wow.
Which is very.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of bots on there, so good luck.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's interesting. You said around the world, right? Respect, that you could connect now with people on a global mode. Yeah. So if you meet someone, let's say someone in Africa or Asia or anywhere in the world besides being in the States, how do you quantify quality time through texting and just talking versus that energy field of just being around someone? How do you say, hey, we've been talking for X, because you can't have the same mileage, no? Or yes?
Right. I think it's all about bringing them into your experience and vice versa. If they're able to bring you into their experience, especially if it's around the world. Now, see, we're a multicultural organization, so we definitely celebrate our diversity, and we definitely take pride in everybody else's cultural around the world, language, culture. So we love all that, and so if I have a long distance relationship, virtual relationship with someone in, say, Egypt, for instance, I'm gonna want her to take me into to her experiences, to to different sites that I can't see. I mean, that's living vicariously within that relationship, and I think that's probably the best way, in that setting. And then now you have something new to talk about the next time,
That's interesting.
So it's just, yeah. You just think you got to get immersed.
And then the flip side, some people say that distance actually makes you have more of an intellectual conversation on another level because you're not worried about the first kiss. You're not worried about any of that physical stuff. You're just strictly getting to know the personality. Is that fair or unfair? Realistic? Unrealistic?
It's a little
I
bit
think
of
it's
both, though.
realistic. If you're able to make it work like that, because they say the body degrades, but the mind stays how it is. So if you can't emotionally and intellectually mesh with someone like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a pure physicality, it's only lust, then you can't have a solid relationship built off lust. It has to be love.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Super facts. You guys remember that scene in Demolition Man? You guys see Demolition Man? Sandra Bullock and Sly Stallone, and they go to have, it's in the future, so they go to have sex, and she puts on a helmet, and he's from the 90s, and he's thinking like they're about to get physical, and she's like, oh, let me just slip this helmet on, and he's like, oh, okay, weird, but kinky, I like it. And long story short, there's no physical contact, right? And so, I mean, if you haven't seen it, Hyro, I know you're
It's a little generation. I can't even be mad. It's a little before, but I can respect it.
Yeah, but
That's what you call
that's
dating
where,
in real life.
right, I don't want it to go that route. I think there still needs to be some physicalities. There still needs to be, pleasures of the flesh, if you will. You know what I mean? So, at some point, I mean, there's some people that go in on long distance relationships, and that's fine. And that becomes all the, the charisma, the communication, the emotional, all of that. And some people are able to vibe without any physicalities, and that's cool too. But he says, all right.
That's interesting.
Well put.
That's good. All right. Well, you know what? Long distance. Let's give some advice on how do you end a long distance thing. Like, you know what? Let's say you're talking to someone like, I found somebody next door. I don't need you no more. Or for whatever reason, it's not working out. Whatever it is. What do you do?
Well, I say the answer is not ghosting them.
No.
It's a simple click of the button of a block in the code.
Blocked.
Look,
I mean, for most young people, that's how it is. So real quick, block,
True.
do not disturb. I don't need to hear you. Like, that's it.
Wow.
Away.
Yeah.
Man.
You guys are harsh.
Look,
Some
females
people
do
are
it all the time,
savage.
don't they?
Yeah.
Don't they?
You cut out. You
Yep.
said
Said females do it all the time.
Females do it all the time.
Left on red. 3 months later. How you doing? It's still blocked.
oh man. Serious. All right. So let's go the opposite. How do you keep it going? How do you keep it going so either side does not block either side? What's the magic?
Ooh. Very, very simply, one word: communication. At least, obviously, see where it goes, but you need to communicate.
Okay.
Daily basis, whatever it is. But a lot of females like obviously that constant communication. If that's what they are trying to go for, an actual relationship, obviously.
Right. And hopefully,
So a couple
as a
of-
disclaimer, communication. Hopefully, you don't have to ghost. Be like, I'm not feeling you like that no more. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it could be.
you gotta open up to it, Be upfront about what you want.
An online lead to marriage and the baby carriage and all that good stuff because it seems like right now most of the people I know have met people either online or I would say online. I would say a good amount, if not half. The traditional church, bar, temple, or it's been social media. Very few people at work, very few people in the street, which is interesting. Can Can it be a forever thing? In any of your experiences, have you seen, observed, or anybody that you wanted to be forever and it wasn't?
Well, my mother actually, she met her new husband on was it Only Fish
Oh wow.
or something like that? Yeah, she actually met him on there.
Mm-hmm.
This was just a few years back. They got married about 2 years ago, and they're still going strong.
Wow.
So, but they live on the same area. We lived in the same area, and they were able to meet up. So it wasn't necessarily long distance, but there was that new connection over the internet.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, I had an experience where I did meet on Facebook actually, and and that turned out to be a long distance, a long relationship, a long and loving and strong and serious relationship.
Why are you cracking up?
Keep smiling more.
That's
and
a
more.
good sign. That's a good sign.
And so yeah, it could work. My mom too, as a matter of fact, right? She actually worked with a guy back in the day, 30 years ago or whatever. And they fell out. They found each other on Facebook, talked for a couple of years, met each other, dated again, and now they're married.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah. So it's all about that. It's about that connection, and it's about communication, and So yeah, I think it's highly possible.
I agree with that 100% as well. But I quickly jumped straight into the real world. It's kind of like, hey, you want to hang out?
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's get together.
Waste no time.
Well, because, it's a total different vibe on the phone than physically hanging out. Like, if you go out to eat, do they talk with their mouth open while they're... do they talk with their mouth? Of course they talk with their mouth open. But do they eat while they talk?
If you could talk with your mouth closed,
It's crazy.
So, all that kind of stuff.
And they actually dress up.
Bum, bum, bum. Sorry about that. But no, it's amazing. It's just amazing how things have changed. And I think that technology is only going to make it more and more important to have the internet, to have a really good phone, have a really good computer, have Wi-Fi.
The phone is the scary thing though that matters, because if you ask like a younger generation, I promise you that if you have an iPhone, you get a lot more game than if you had an Android.
Oh my God, he's about to start that
No,
one
it's true.
right now.
No,
Stop
It's
it.
true.
no, you're right though. You're
I
right.
know from personal
man.
experience, nobody wants to talk to anybody if they see a green little blurb pop up. They don't want it.
Wow.
But if you got that nice blue iPhone pop up, you're about like 15-20% more attractive, I promise you.
Wow.
Man.
Bum,
That's
bum,
my personal
bum.
experience.
Look, Apple. Now we promoted you.
For real.
Get more
All
date with that blue dot.
Good to know. Good to know where my guys are right now.
Yeah. And for the censors, D for DiGamma. Get more DiGammas. With that dot or lack of. All right, one quick thing. High Road, right? Right now, on the scene, on the college scene, right? How has technology affected people just getting together versus, because, you just go to the cafeteria, go to class. Does technology play any role in that or no?
I find it almost plays like a bigger role now, considering the fact that, everything is COVID. Your physical, actual relations and physical interactions are almost zero. Anytime I go to the college campus, there's nobody on campus unless you're forced to be there.
Wow.
And they do say forced at this point. Everything has always been, like, as far as the semester is online or Discord chats, really. Like, that's how I'm getting in contact with everybody, even my teachers sometimes, is Discord chats. hanging out online, especially through like video games and such. You really have to like find your clique of people who are in that same vicinity or that have your same interests and meet up with them. Even everybody tells you over Instagram, hit me up. I'm joining college this semester. Hit me up. Like nobody knows what to do, so they immediately take to Instagram. They take to Discord. They take to online immediately.
So let me ask you something though. If you guys weren't in a virtual setting, you think that would be something that would be more common nowadays for other people, to just reach out to you, hey, let's sync up on, common interests and things like that? Or do you think it's becoming more common now because obviously we're being forced to do that in kind of setting where you would expect to be socializing a lot more on a college campus where, you really don't have that kind of college experience anymore?
I mean, obviously from before, my past 3 years of college, most people, like, you link up with your same interests in person because, like, you're already be doing it, and then that's how you meet somebody. But right now, it's like, even when, we use Discord was not used for everybody. Everybody knows Discord was for gamers only. Like, that's how we all linked. That's how we streamed. That's how everything was, used. But now everybody uses it just for like regular conversation, or if you just found something that you're interested in together.
Wow. All right. Well, we're gonna go. It's been great having you guys. Everybody say your social media. If anyone wants to hit any of you guys up and ask any questions about yourselves, about the organization, maybe joining, starting a chapter, hit everybody up. What's your social media?
The organization's social media is DiGamma Omega Xi. Just that on Instagram. My personal is ANGELOLAX.
High Road?
Obviously, definitely hit me up on the DiGamma Omega Xi Instagram, or if you want to hit me up personally, it's JL.Davila, DAVILA. That's my personal IG if you ever want to get in contact or just hang out.
Cool. Respect.
DiGamma Omega Xi. They're gonna make a Xi. Respect.
And high tech.
Mine is very simple. I_PRO_E.
Excellent. And I am Michael7 Michael on IG. You can always go to GeekCaster on IG and geekcaster.com. And such a pleasure to have DiGamma Omega Xi Incorporated on here.
Yeah.
The bros. Hopefully we can get the sisters next time. It's been a pleasure. And use that technology. How about that right there? Woohoo!
What?
Talking about technology.
And don't be afraid to fall in love, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Geekcaster.